Hello everybody, this is Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. Got a little video today I think you're going to find real interesting. Yesterday I created this video right here. I'm going to show you. It says proof that I was not shot with my gun. If you watch that video, then you should know, without any doubt, irrefutable, undeniable evidence shows I was not shot with my gun. And that means that somebody came to my home and shot me. And to be more specific, they were under my home, shot me from point blank range, directly at an artery, by surprise, with my phone lines cut. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video, is cutting the phone lines before they shot me. Okay, and so I'm going to jump over here to my Facebook here is under Buddy Wayne Webb Midland. My URL's here at buddy.web.353, and this was my Facebook post today, and I'm going to try to keep this video relatively short. And so here was the opening meme. It says, "Why did Detective Rosie Rodriguez say that I told her my phone battery was not charged when it was fully charged?" Think about it, okay? And so I'm asking my 5,000 Facebook friends and 4,000 followers, think about this fact, And I remember my attorney telling me one time, sometimes it's just the smallest little piece of evidence that makes all the difference, And that is true, I mean, you go back and you look at this piece of evidence and you start asking yourself, why did this happen? And then it starts, explaining itself. Okay, and so here was my very first comment under it, and I'm gonna show you the proof picture here in a minute. It says my cell phone had disappeared before I was shot, so I had my large cordless phone in my pocket. I normally wouldn't carry this phone, but at the time I had burglar alarms going off over and over. It was fully charged, as it said on the charger all of the time, and I rarely used it. I only had it because my cell phone had disappeared. Rosie Rodriguez made up that lie about me telling her my phone battery was not charged because she knew they had stolen my cell phone and disconnected the phone lines before shooting me by surprise. I believe this picture shows her planning my cell phone when I was in surgery. Based on the timestamps, it looks like she waited for the other police to leave my bedroom, leaving just her and Officer April Chandler. She's leaned over the nightstand where I found my cell phone planted after I returned from the hospital. Keep in mind, somebody had tried to disable this camera that caught them, right? I mean, it took 6 years, $2,000 to get the secret police identified, and that's another video there. Okay, here's one of the secret police pictures, okay? And the timestamp on it, when you looked at it, I've got a recent video called The Pictures of the Secret Police, and I'm showing you based on the timestamp at 3:54. This is one of the last pictures taken, and the early pictures showed the room full of police, but after all the police left and everything, then it looks like here's Rosie leaned over the nightstand. This is behind that nightstand is where my stolen cell phone, I found it planted after I returned from the hospital. It wasn't there when I was shot, and like I said, it had went missing on the day before not the day before, but the day I shot, before I was shot, it went missing. And this I can tell by other pictures. This is Officer April Chandler. This is Rosie Rodriguez, okay? And so I believe that this picture caught them, or caught her, planning my stolen cell phone. And that means she knows something about the people that stole my cell phone before I shot, because that's what happened. And what that means is that was premeditated, right? It was sneak into a private home, cut the phone lines, shoot the homeowner by surprise, directly under an artery, with the special bullet, and we're not even going to get into that, but basically directly under an artery, point blank range, and then I was supposed to die, I didn't have any communications. The reason I crawled out is because I didn't have any communications. My cell phone had been stolen and my home phone line was cut, And so here I've written at the top of this one, my cordless phone was fully charged and only had it because my cell phone had been stolen. I found my cell phone planted behind that cabinet, which Detective Rosa Rodriguez is seen leaned over. Okay. And then even on down here, Detective Rosie Rodriguez wrote on a police report. This was on the police information report. I've got the entire report. She said, Buddy said his phone was not charged, so he went outside and screamed for help. That was a bold-faced lie. Buddy never said that. And you know, to make that point is, I had my cordless phone on me because my cell phone was stolen, and the cordless phone sat on the charger all the time. It was fully charged, you know. The only reason I went outside and screamed for help is because I had no communications. If I didn't crawl out, I was going to die, you know. I mean, it was a matter of life and death. I was sincerely worried that I was going to die, and obviously that was the plan, you know. And so I wanted to show you that proof picture there, okay, and show you that from the police report. My next comment here was the emergency room nurse documented me saying the alarms kept going off. Somebody in my attic and setting them off on purpose, and I wondered if they were trying to herd me so I would walk in front of the cabinet where they could get a kill shot. They shot me from point blank range directly in an artery and then listened to me scream for help while waiting for me to die. They planned on killing me. This was cold-blooded murder, and God saved my life. You know, and the question's been asked, well, why didn't they shoot you twice? They didn't shoot me twice because then they couldn't claim it was an accident, you know, and that was very important to claim as an accident, because if there's, you know, an investigation, it could expose everything. People could get the death sentence, and then there was the $500,000 accidental death insurance that was on the life insurance books the ex-wife had taken, right? I mean, that was written in there, showed that I had an accidental death policy. Anyway, these are the nurse's notes, my permanent medical records. It was Nurse Kira Criswell, and I wrote up there at the top, burglar alarms were going off over and over before I was ambushed and shot. And here it is. It's 11:27. I crawled out at 10:42. Okay, and so that's less than an hour after crawled out. You know, I'm there at the ER. You know, after, you know, in shock and been shot. And here the sirens are going off. The alarms kept going off. You know, and you know, and other things. I tie-wired my door shut. That, you know, and see, that's important because it looks like I trapped a burglar during a burglary when I tie-wired them doors shut, and that was being used as an excuse to try to murder me in my home because one of these criminals got caught during a home invasion. And so, but the main point of this is alarms kept going off, and that's the reason I put that in there, is because I was saying here, up here at the top, that the, you know, that I had my cell phone dispatched before I shot, so I had my cordless phone, and I normally wouldn't carry that big old cordless phone, the home phone, right? Except I had burglar alarms going off, and that's what I was, you know, backing that up. I want to show you, here's the proof. I mean, the burglar alarm was on my house. I mean, and then since then, I probably made 100 videos of burglar alarms going off, installed a Vivint alarm system, dispatched police to my house. I've got homeowners all over Midland, Odessa, Texas, and other states reporting people in the attic. Absolute fact. Nobody should doubt that. You know, 100% for sure burglar alarms were going off before I was ambushed and shot, meaning I was shot during a home invasion, okay? And that makes it where it's not an accident. And we've already proven I wasn't shot with my gun, right? Okay, and so that is my next point right here, was the video I showed you earlier. Can we all agree that if I wasn't shot with my gun, then I was shot with another gun? And that means somebody under my home shot me? The facts, the evidence, and the truth is on my side. All they have is lies and guns. That's it. They can't dispute the evidence. The evidence is, there's so much overwhelming amount of evidence, irrefutable, undeniable. Somebody under my home shot me, you know. And, you know, and I want to clear that up. I keep seeing this message on YouTube. Show me the bullet going through the floor. Well, the bullet didn't go through the floor. You know, the entrance and exit wounds on my foot were 2 inches above ground level. So that tells you where the shooter's gun was at. It was under that cabinet. Okay, but you know, unless we have a 2-inch person, the shooter was standing below my home. Now, keep in mind, I just reported a suspected tunnel to the DEA 2 weeks earlier, who didn't look, and now multiple people are documented, you know, saying tunnels and underground homes are here. You know, like Ricky, Ronaldo said that him and his brother used to go in the tunnels under his house when they lived here, right? Joe Lozano saying Sheriff Painter used to hide out in the underground homes here. Rhonda Denman Rogers said underground facilities half block away. Layla O'Brien said she worked on this project, cost $7.35 million, finished 1987, etc., etc., etc. That's another thing we should not have no doubt from. Look on Google Maps and look at my backyard. You can see right where one of them 4 3-bedroom $1 million underground homes is. And so here we're going to go next comment. The only reason I crawled out was because I found that I had no communications after I was ambushed and shot from point blank range. They had stolen my cell phone and disconnected my home phone. They tried to kill me, okay? I mean, this scary, scary people right here. What I did, this is from my security camera, me crawling out, and I overlaid the 911 call, which actually was from the 7-Eleven a few minutes later on top of it. But it makes a big point here.
Never 911.
So I just want you to know that. Now, keep in mind, Rosie Rodriguez said Buddy said that his battery was dead on his phone, so he crawled out and screamed for help. That's a bold-faced lie. Buddy never said that. Buddy had his cordless phone that was fully charged, and then the only reason I have my cordless phone is because my cell phone was stolen, right? And the only reason I carry the big old cordless phone is because burglar alarms are going off in the attic. I was under home invasion when I shot. Now it looks like that I trapped a burglar during a home invasion. Okay, here are my next post here. There are lifetime consequences to victims of violent crimes. I had been reporting burglaries to my home, and I was shot during a burglary. Then that's what, and that's the irony of it, because it looks like we might have had some corrupt police that were involved in this murder attempt, that tried to murder me in my home, that were working with the criminals and the burglars and breaking in not only my home, but all these other homes, and I suspect probably connected with covering up the murder of that little girl at the 2010 Old Show party. Angie was afraid to report that murder and said police were there at that party, the 2010 Old Show party. Joe Lozano said Sheriff Painter, used to hang out in underground homes here. So, I mean, I'm a lifetime supporter of law enforcement, not a cop hater, but we have some corrupt police. I mean, that's all there is to it. Not all police are bad, but we got some corrupt police here, and I'm showing you evidence of what happened here. But also I'm showing you there's lifetime consequences to violent, to the victims. I'm a crime victim. Remember, I'm home minding my own business. I've been calling the police, telling people, everybody I know, they're breaking in my home. I just want to live in my home in peace, and these killers won't stop. It's just unprecedented lawlessness is what's going on here. When I returned from the hospital, I found the hallway bathroom's door bottom hinge had been torn from the wall, and these pry marks on the top inside door jamb. I had trapped a burglar in this room earlier in the day when I had tie-wired the door shut. It looks like they tried to use this criminal getting trapped as an excuse to murder me, call it an accident, and then get my special home. Okay, special because there's it has hidden underground access, and there's an underground facility in the backyard, and that's where that little girl was murdered at, and where they're having the old show parties. Okay, one of the 4 underground homes, and so it's special. They want this. They want my home. And I want to show you this. This was the nurse's note. Their sirens going off right here. But here on it, I was tie-wiring my door shut. Okay, this door in the bathroom, there's 2 bathrooms. This is down the hallway. This is a hallway guest bathroom. And I want to show you at the top of the door jamb right there is pry marks I found after I returned. And the hinge was torn off the wall. And it was real clear to me somebody was trapped in this room, before I was shot, and that might have been a motive for murder. Right there is that there was a trapped burglar. And I said this before, that was a dire situation for these criminals that have their secret police gang, the $1 million underground facilities. They have the press to cover up their crimes as they break into homes all over Midland, and people reporting people in the attic, and the press is covering up their crimes and the murders for them. They've got all the bases covered to commit these crimes against innocent homeowners. Right, and a piece of tie wire trapped one of these criminals in my bathroom, and I have every right to protect my life and property just like you do, right? And, you know, but what's amazing here is these criminals got a large secret police gang, you know, that kills the innocent crime victims. You know, that's what it looks like. You know, I don't have proof that it was police that shot me yet, but that's what it looks like. The ex-wife told me after I returned from the hospital, "You don't know how many lives that you ruined with your idiocy." Well, I believe idiocy was a reference to trapping this burglar after they had sneaked in my home, but it also said that a lot of people were in the underground home in the backyard. She said a lot. You don't know how many lives you ruined. A lot of people were here. Okay, where were they? In the underground home in the backyard. And you know, in this idiocy comment, what I think it was, oh, you know, you recognized you were under another home invasion. You tied with the door shut and you trapped a burglar, and so thus we had to try to murder you because it was your fault for staying home and minding your own business. How dare you stay home and mind your own business? How dare you, you know, do your civic duty and report crimes to law enforcement? You know, that's the death sentence right there. You know, give Buddy the death sentence because he's trying to make Midland a safer place reporting crimes. You know, that's what you know. That's how absurd it is. Here, I want to show you here. You know, and I show this all the time. Go to Google Maps, maps.google.com. Do it on your phone. Do it on your computer. Put in my address, 3802 Fair Circle, Midland, Texas, and then pull up on the map screen. You look at my backyard and you see this large bunker. Okay, do it yourself. Go look for yourself. 3802 Fair Circle, Midland, Texas. Okay, I'm shot right here by somebody in my home. And just switch over the satellite and you'll see there ain't nothing there above ground. And I've got multiple people saying there's underground homes here, $1 million underground homes. I believe that's one of them. And that's where all them people were at, you know. And I believe that's probably where the secret police were at. And I could go through and list a, you know, woman recorded saying there's 4 3-bedroom underground homes. Rhonda Denman Rogers said, you know, there's a underground facility half block away. Leila O'Brien said she worked on this project. Sheriff Lozano said that Sheriff Painter, you're saying, or Sheriff Candidate Lozano, etc., etc. Okay. Next one here. A few minutes after I was ambushed and shot, April Chandler wrote on a hospital form that I caused myself to suffer a gunshot wound. You can see where she started to write that I shot myself, but scribbled that out knowing it was a direct lie. I believe she was trying to blame me because criminals with guns broke into my home. Okay, and do you see how, remember we started with absolute proof I didn't shoot myself. But she's saying I caused it. So she's saying I'm home minding my own business and I caused somebody to break into my home with guns and shoot me by surprise. That's what she's saying. Because I didn't shoot myself, right? Somebody broke into my home and shot me by surprise. Okay. Mr. Webb showed paranoia to the extent now I want to show you here, we're going real close. See the SH? She started to write, he shot. And then she scribbled that out because she knew that was a lie, and then changed her wording to say he caused himself to suffer a gunshot wound. Once again, I'm going to ask you, how can a man home by himself, minding his own business, cause myself to suffer a gunshot wound? Remember, I wasn't shot with my gun. Somebody came here and shot me. Absolute, undeniable, irrefutable evidence shows that. Not Buddy's assessment, not Buddy's word against their word. The facts, the evidence, and the truth say that. The police report for the night of the murder attempt, which was illegally withheld for 7 years. I didn't get it till 2019. I was shot in 2012, and that's when the secret police were caught on camera. Okay, show me that Lieutenant Dickey was inside my home at 11:05 p.m., but he wasn't seen arriving on the cameras, which saw Woodward and Naylor 4 minutes earlier at 11:01 p.m. It looks like Dickey let out the trapped burglar, and it's possible that he or one of the other secret police was the shooter, aka would-be killer. It's clear that these police were working with the burglars that I had been reporting to them. That's the irony of what's going on here. This is Dickey here, okay, got it off the internet, and this is from the long withheld police report. It was time-stamped at 11:05, okay, and it's saying no one in the house, inside, and lots of odd things like booby traps. That's what Lieutenant Dickey said at 11:05. Okay, there was no booby traps or they'd be in evidence. That was a lie by Lieutenant Dickey. Okay, but I want to show you here on my security cameras, these two officers They arrived at 11:01 p.m., 4 minutes earlier. And we found out 6 years later, because I offered a reward, and the Empire Private Investigations identified them as Woodward and Naylor. Neither of their names are on the police report, by the way. And the first one that arrived was a sheriff from a whole different county, right? None of that's been explained. I suspect they were under my home too. All of them were under my home probably when this happened. They're all involved. Maybe like one of them steals my camera, the other one cuts the phone lines. You pull the trigger, etc. I don't know, but we need real law enforcement, the kind that don't sneak into homes and murder innocent people reporting crimes, to investigate this. Also listed as being at my home but not seen arriving on the security cameras was officers Davis, Chatwell, Angel, and Hale. It makes sense that Woodward and Naylor were under my home too, as their names were not on the long withheld police report. All 11 of the secret police were obviously involved. Okay, and this is from the police report, parsed out, and it's just showing that this is actually Matt Davis. I pulled the wrong meme here. I was wanting to show all of them, but either way, this was Matt Davis showing he was there, and actually he was there with Dickie. So it was probably Dickie and Davis that let out, the trap burglar, but because they were at my house at the same time. But there was 5 police officers that were timestamped being at or in my home and not seen arriving. And then, but I suspect Woodward and Naylor were also under my home. They were actually in front of my house. And then most likely Chandler and Rodriguez were too. And then we got the other ones like Simpson, the police officer murdered his wife, killed himself supposedly, right? Okay, and then there are other ones. At 8:08 p.m., the security camera in my bedroom terminated. And I believe this was done around the same time as when my cell phone was stolen and my home phone lines were cut or disconnected. This is from the log files from the bedroom security camera. Okay, and it was software called YawCam. Just another webcam is what the name of it. So it turns a webcam into a security camera, motion-activated security camera. And what it's showing me, I found this when I returned from the hospital after surviving at 8:08, my YawCam was terminated. This camera was terminated, and I believe that's when I didn't terminate it. So I believe that was when they were preparing to murder me, stealing my cell phone and disconnected my home phone lines. I often say cut my phone lines, cut my communications. I'm an ex-IT guy, and that's a figurative phrase that we use. I mean, it's often used when somebody runs into a telephone pole and it cuts communications to a town, but it doesn't mean anybody took a knife and cut wires. And and I get people saying that, oh, I want to see the cut wires. Well, no, just with saying the phone lines were cut don't mean that they took, a knife and cut wires. I mean, they might have took a screwdriver and unscrewed the terminal. Either way, they disconnected the home phone line, or they cut the communications, they cut the phone. And so I just want everybody to understand what that means when you say you cut the phone lines, you cut communications. It means disconnected, and it's a figurative term. And interestingly, this camera was started back up. I showed this in a recent video at 3:16 a.m. And what caused that was the police entered my home and rebooted this computer. I believe they looked over and saw that camera, and they rebooted this computer trying to stop the camera. And evidently, whoever did that didn't know it wasn't running, and because they didn't, but they also didn't know that I had the camera set to automatically start up. And so the camera was terminated here by somebody, at 8:08. And I was calling out at 10:42, and that was 8:08. And so it was stopped here, and it started back up when they rebooted my computer at 3:16 a.m. And obviously they didn't know they were being caught on camera, because you can see them, here, stealing evidence, planting my stolen phone, searching drawers, etc. Okay. After I survived the murder attempt, I went to lunch with a coworker named Bobby Douglas, and when I went to use my debit card, it was rejected. I then remembered that I'd canceled it the week before the murder attempt because it had disappeared from my wallet. My debit card had. I went to this last store, searched wallet, truck, car, home, everywhere. I couldn't find it. I finally called in a lost, stolen card. This was a part of the incredible harassment and terrorism that was going on prior to me being shot, and which I believe it was to try and entice me to sell my home. That's what they've been wanting to do, which is a violation of the Hobbs Act. They're trying to gain my property because it has this underground home in the backyard where they murdered that little girl. It has the tunnel. It's going to expose all their crimes, So they're trying to terrorize me into selling my property, but only at the price they want. That's why it's a violation of the Hobbs Act, okay? And so I want to show you here, Barrett, the crime scene investigator, and he gets my wallet from Chandler, and he's checking in all the cards in it, okay? So he checked in my debit card. The thing is and here's the story, is what I'm saying, is when I returned from the hospital, I'd forgot that this card was stolen, and I had called it in as I had it disabled, or I reported it stolen or lost. And the records will show that, right? I mean, the bank carries financial records. Mr. Webb called it this minute and said the card was stolen or lost, which I did, right? Okay. Well, then all of a sudden I get shot. I get out of the hospital. I get my wallet back, and it's mysteriously back inside my wallet. That tells me somebody with these police, one of these police officers, were part of the terrorism before I was shot, and they had that card. But once I survived the murder attempt, here, put the debit card back in there, not knowing I had canceled that card, okay, because it was stolen. Now, I'm not saying that the police stole it. It's probably the people breaking into my house, which might be paid or whatever. They're the ones that stole it, okay? It's just that it looks like these police are working with this crime ring that's behind all these crimes, and they ended up with a debit card that had been stolen, and they put it back in my wallet, but not knowing that, hey, I'd already, put a cancel on it. It wasn't no good no more. But that's when I found out that the police somehow had my stolen debit card. That's the whole point that I'm showing you here on this proof there, okay? And then the last one here is CSI Marty Barrett stated that he got my wallet from MPD Officer April Chandler. So they would be the first two questioned about who had my stolen debit card. And so this is part of the information report again. There's the report number, supplement number 7, reported date, Marty Barrett, the crime scene investigator. And he says that I received evidence from Officer Chandler that included a pistol and a wallet. And that's where it's important, because somewhere from the time I'm shot till the time I'm in the hospital 10 days, get my wallet back, somebody put my stolen debit card back in my wallet. And who had the wallet in between that time? Chandler and Barrett. Okay, that's why them two need to be questioned. On this stolen debit card, which was a part of this, and that's why I wanted to add that and show you that. So I just wanted to show you some more evidence. Once again, all it takes is one piece of evidence going, wait a minute, Detective Rosie Rodriguez, why did you say Buddy, said this when obviously he didn't? He had a fully charged phone. You made that up, Rosie. You lied. Why did you lie, Rosie Rodriguez? This is Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.